Good morning, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Maximizing Your Potential Talk Show. I'm your host, Gertrude J. Chapman, and I would like to welcome you here today as we talk about some impactful topic, an impactful topics that's going to really have you thinking. That's going to really, ignite something inside of you, and that's what these programs are all about. It's all about igniting you to be able to look inside of you and see what you have to work with. I'm all about motivating women, you know, getting you in touch with who you are. And, stop just existing and fill up that void that's inside of your life and truly live your life on purpose. And it reminds me, yesterday I had some very interesting conversations with people. Um, and we talked about different things. I was able to, really hear their heart to see what they're struggling with and to be able to shed light, shed light into them so they could see that what they're struggling with is not, they're the only ones going through. That's something that's, you know, uncommon. You know, a lot of times when we go through something, we think we're the only one that's going through. And we tend to sometimes, pardon me, isolate ourselves and shun away to try to, sometimes work it out by ourselves. But there are people that you may listen to on social media, these live stream broadcasts, or people that's right there in your community who can help you get over some of these struggles that you're facing by helping you to realize that there is a way out, that you can do something different to be able to achieve your goals, whatever your goals may be, you know, whatever your goals in life are. Like I said, I'm speaking to business women, you know, I'm speaking to women because basically that's who my audience is. Women out there struggling, trying to find their way through the maze. And I was once that person. I was once that person who had this huge void in my life where I thought that I was doing good, not realizing that I was missing it, that I was far off my mark, that I was walking or traveling down a path that wasn't designed for me. How many of you can say that, Gertrude, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. But a pivotal point came in my life when the housing market went bust, because that was the industry that I was in, working in that field that surrounded, that industry. And I was laid off twice, back to back, through no fault of my own, with a bunch of other people. And there was a point that I came to in my life where I began to look inside of me. and truly evaluate what I had to get me out of a situation. And the situation I was talking about was a financial situation. Now, I didn't start off like that. Sometimes people tend to think, well, you're careless with your money, you're doing this and you're doing that. But I was very careful about what I was doing. Not only me, my family, my husband and I, we had 2 children and, everything. Just living the American dream. But I wasn't truly living. I was existing, climbing that corporate ladder, working a job that wasn't really designed for me. But at the moment, I thought this is what I wanted because real estate had been in my family, for such a long time. And, I had, previously, years ago, had sold real estate. I even did mortgages. I even, bought houses and renovated houses and, different things of that nature. But I wasn't living my dream. I wasn't living according to my purpose. And that's where it comes. What are your dreams? And what is your purpose? Who are you? Now, the topic today is your value speaks volumes. But your value is connected to who you are, your purpose in life. And, and I realized that. And like I said, I had some interesting conversations on yesterday. Interesting. And it all goes back to that question. Who am I? And that has a lot to do with, your confidence and your self-esteem. The research I did was on this before, and I'm going to tell you about a fantastic, opportunity that, I would like you to take advantage of to gain the confidence that you need to maximize your potential, because that's what it's all about. You maximizing your potential. Really get to know what it is to live your life on purpose and not just exist. I am joyful now. You see, I had a form of joy. It was called happiness. Happiness, comes and it goes. It's connected to, the surface, whatever way things fall. But joy, that joy to, get up and walk down your design pathway. There's nothing like it, y'all. And I'm being truthful and honest today. There's nothing like, living your life on purpose. And truly, getting in touch with who you are. Now, I'm going to tell you, when you're starting from a position of not knowing your value, you struggle and settle for less. That research said 79% of the women had a general form of self-esteem and self-confidence issues. And like I said, when you come from a position of not knowing who you are, your value, your worth, you struggle and you settle for less. Although, the money was good when I was climbing that corporate ladder, the perks were good, the bonuses were good, but I was struggling on the inside because I wasn't fulfilled. And how many of you women can acknowledge that and say, "Oh, Gertrude, that's me. You're talking to me right now." It's a reality that many people fall into. But let me tell you, it can be fixed. So, this opportunity that I'm talking about is a course that's going to be launched next month. And if you would like to take advantage of that or get more information about that, just go to the link that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, where you could talk to me or one of my team members, and we could, set you on the right course of living your life on purpose to bring that joy in your life, you know, to bring that wholeness, that completeness in your life, where you don't have to struggle with trying to fix things and put things together and, come out of position and have to do it all over again. But basically, it's a roadmap, when you get where you're supposed to be. Like I'm saying, on your design pathway, you be able to see your direction instead of, hitting and missing. Is that fair? This is something that, I know, and I have a bunch of women who have signed up for it already. They say, "Gertrude, I need this. I need this in my life." So it doesn't matter, your age. Don't ever think that you're too young or you're too old. As long as you have breath in your body, you always have an opportunity to improve. Remember that. You're never too young or you're never too old. But it's time for you to truly make a difference in your life and see what it's like to live your life on purpose and stop settling for less. Okay? Because, woman, you have value, you have worth, you are brilliant, you have something to offer on the world stage. You have something that could not only change your life, but change everybody's life that you touch for generations to come. So let me just dive into this message today. Your value speaks volumes. I want you to write that down. Your value speaks volumes, being more than enough. I just posted something on my Facebook this morning saying you are sufficient. And you are sufficient. You have to know that. And that's one of the points that I'm going to talk about today. Your sufficiency. But you're more than enough. Your value speaks volumes. A lot of times you can't see your value. Other people see your value. How many times have you been on a job? I want you to think about this. And because you were so good at what you did, okay, you were so in tune with your knowledge and the way that you put things together, Your boss always was calling on you, especially when he or she had a major project to get through. You were in high demand because they knew that they knew that you were the only one that could make it happen. That you were the only one that could make it happen. But yet, you fail to see your value. You're thinking that you have nothing to offer anyone. But this whole company, in essence, listen to this. This whole company, the moving forward of it was riding on your back to get that project through. And you not even realizing how much you had inside of you. But someone else did. You're making that company millions. But you fail to see your potential to make millions for yourself. I want that to sink in. Your value, your worth. That's a true statement. There's something that you know how to do. And that's one of my talking points also. So I'm not going to, get into that. But maximize your potential. And stop leaving money on the table. And you said, well, Gertrude, you're always talking about money. Because money, you have to have money in order to do things, okay? And it's crazy if you're thinking that you don't need it. Because it's a way of exchange. It's a way of increasing your whatever that you're involved in, products or services, company, or whatever you need to do. So it's foolish not to, always bring up money in the picture. Money answers all things. And a lot of times that's that old mindset. I think I talked about mindset yesterday or the day before, whatever. Talk about those limiting behaviors, those limiting beliefs, those old wives' tales, that foolishness. Yes, it was yesterday, as a matter of fact, the nonsense. Okay? Money's evil. Money's not evil. It's the love of money. And when you talk about the love of money, it's what people will do in exchange for money and in a bad way. They'll sell out for money. They'll do anything for money. They'll compromise their value, their work for money when they don't need to really do that. Okay? But money is not evil. It's nothing but a piece of paper with, ink on it, with dollar signs, not even really a dollar sign, with the numbers on there to tell you the denomination of the money. It's nothing but paper, y'all. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. When you use that money in a negative way. But maximize your potential. See your value. Your value speaks volumes. Your value, your internal value. So what do you have inside of you to work with? That's the question. That's the key. What do you have inside of you to work with? I found that out. And it worked together for my good. At the present time, it didn't seem like it was working together. But it did. So let me get into the first talking point. And I would like you to, chime in. Chime in and let me hear what you have to say about this particular topic. Your value speaks volumes, and being more than enough. So the first talking point is, how do you measure up to your truth? Your truth. You might say, well, what are you talking about? Your truth. I always tell you to be authentic. Always live your truth. Don't ever try to be, a carbon copy of somebody else. What's wrong with being you? What's wrong with being you? Each and every one is unique and wonderfully made, beautiful in their own sense, in their own setting. Be receptive of what you have. Acknowledge what you have, because what you have is unlike what anybody else has. Your uniqueness is the thing that sets you apart. So this is one of the questions that you should really ask yourself. How do I measure up to my truth? Think about that. And, with this being the day before the weekend, because today is Friday, maybe this is something that you could do, over the weekend. Take that notebook and, that pen, and begin to do an evaluation on yourself and ask yourself, how do I measure up to my truth? How do I measure up to my truth? What is the estimate of my value regarding my worth? How do you value yourself? What is the estimate of your value? You could put a value on houses. You could put a value on cars. You could put a value on clothes, jewelry. But when it comes to you, how are you seeing yourself? What value would you place on yourself? Another question. Have you allowed yourself to think outside of the box, breaking barriers? Or are you just settled in that one thought pattern that you have settled in a place and thinking this is the only way it can be? And this is all that I could ever be, or this is all that I could ever have. And these are fair questions. And they may be very elementary questions. And what I'm talking about by using the word elementary, breaking it down to the basis. But the bases are very necessary to arrive at your truth, to see if you're measuring up to your truth. So these are simple questions that everyone should ask themselves. Here's another one. Do your beliefs match up to your worth? Do your beliefs match up to your worth, or do they match your worth? Yesterday, I talked about beliefs, those certain belief patterns, and things that people allow to come into them, okay, to plant that belief, whether it's a limiting belief, whether it's a self-defeating belief, falsehoods that have no truth to them. And I told you, one pet peeve of mine was, oh, you got to fake it till you make it. What is positive about that statement? I even had the opportunity. I was talking to someone yesterday, sharing that information, that particular statement with them, and we laughed about it. And I said, "Can you even believe that I've heard this from different sectors, different parts of society, and they're thinking that it's okay, that it's all right to, accept that form of limiting belief." And also, I gave an example of, how when you allow those things to come into you, just like an oak tree, okay? An acorn looks totally different from that oak tree. But when you're talking about that oak tree, you're talking about when it sprouts up. Now there's branches. Now there's leaves. Now there's deep roots. And just think of all those branches and all those leaves and all those roots, how they interconnect with other things, how they branch off into other things. And you're wondering why you're struggling through life, because you have taken in something that you shouldn't have. And that was a negative seed. And I talked about, how to protect yourself from allowing those things to come into your life. So that's one of the things. Do your beliefs measure up or match your worth? Think about that. Do they match your worth? Oh, yeah, negativity will match you not seeing anything and thinking that you're less than or you don't have anything to offer. But you could do better. Because I'm going to tell you, you are worth something. You're not insignificant. You're not worthless. Everybody on the earth has a purpose and they have worth. No matter what people have told you, what they have, planning in your mind, you have worth. And it's time for you to recognize who you are. So that's another good example why you should come into this class. That's going to be launching, talking about building your self-confidence and your self-esteem. That's going to be launching in August. So go to the bottom of the screen and connect with me on that link, Linktree/keys to wealth building. And, one of my team members or myself will get in touch with you. This is a Zoom meeting, as a matter of fact. I would like to talk to you and see, how, or if you, not if you, because I know you could benefit, but how, what it will take for you to be able to qualify for this course. Okay? Qualify for this course, because this is for people who want to achieve their goals, not somebody who's playing with, not somebody who's just, going to waste not only my time, but their time. Okay. So this is for people who are serious about, living their lives on purpose and maximizing their potential. So when we're talking about your value speaks volumes, the next talking point is you have a monetary value. You have worth. Let me ask you this. What can you produce? What can you produce? Now, I'm going to tell you, people who live below their means because they have a lack of self-production. So if you're struggling down there, if you're failing to make ends meet, you're living below your self-production. Because you remember I said, you have everything inside of you. You are sufficient. But if you can't see your sufficiency, that's why you're struggling. But you do have a monetary value. You do have worth. Everybody does. You know, here's another one. What products or services can you create? What products or services can you create? What are some of the things that people are always, asking you about? You remember I told you the example of the boss who needs a project, to get through. And the whole trajectory of that company is riding on that project. Okay? And you're being called on to get that project through because they know they could count on you. Think about that. Can you turn your knowledge into dollars? What is it that you know that people are always calling you about? Have you, stopped to really think about that? Those phone calls. That advice. And there's a lot of things that you don't give your brain or your mind time to process because you're not thinking along those lines. So I'm hoping that what I'm talking to you about today, that I'm drawing something inside of you. I'm drawing that out. I'm stirring something up. You have monetary value. You have work. Can you turn your knowledge into dollars? Here's the next one. You are sufficient. You remember I was talking about that? You are sufficient. That was my post today on Facebook. I want you to, see that. Understand what sufficiency is when it comes to you. Everything you need is on the inside of you. See, when I was going through, my situation, with that housing crisis back in the day, 2005, 2006, I had to see that I was sufficient and pull out of me what I needed to pull out of me in order to sustain me during that trying time. That's the best time to see what you got to work with when you're in that trying time. Because it pushes you. It motivates you to look on the inside because you have nowhere else to turn. Believe me, you have nowhere else to turn. Y'all know what it is in the midnight hour? Have y'all ever been in the midnight hour, y'all? When you need an answer before the break of dawn and you crying out. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. Some of you don't need to even wait till the midnight hour. Because just like that was a suddenly that happened in my life, because suddenly we got laid off, a group of us. It was in the afternoon, like 3 o'clock, around like 3 o'clock that afternoon. Now they knew all day. They probably knew all week. They had been planning it. It was planned already, okay? They already knew. But it was a suddenly for us, right before the holidays. A suddenly. Just like what happened with the pandemic. You see, it doesn't matter what the situation is. A suddenly is a suddenly. A fire is still hot and it will burn. No matter what, where that fire is, it will burn. It's still hot. A suddenly is a suddenly, regardless. But what are you going to do about it? You are sufficient. You have the solutions already. You have the solutions. They're already inside of you, but you have to find them. Okay? You are competent. You are complete. When you're going through a situation, it's a trying time. And I know patience is involved. It's a trying time. But if you could just settle down and allow patience, okay? Settle yourself down. That form of settling down that I'm talking about, be patient with yourself. Don't just rush into things and just, settle for less than. You're already in a situation. Don't allow it to be, a spiraling effect where you're spiraling downward. Okay? Take a deep breath and breathe. Settle yourself. Okay? And when I'm talking about settling, have patience. Let me use that word. Okay? Have patience. Get your barriers together. Get your mind together. Okay? Bring it all in. Bring it all in. And see what you have to work with. Because there are gifts, talents, and abilities on the inside of you. You are skilled in these areas. And you never know. Sometimes you cannot even identify it. You don't even see it until you come in the fire. The fire has a way of revealing things. Okay? It has a way of revealing things. It gives you momentum. It gives you momentum to go in and look inside of you. Okay? That's why I say don't fall apart. Bring it together. Come on. That's what you have to do. But you are sufficient. You are sufficient. Here's another great talking point. When I'm talking about your value speaks volumes. How much do you know about yourself? How much do you know about yourself? You know about everything else. You know about everybody else. But how much do you know about yourself? I always tell people, introduce yourself to yourself. Think about that, okay? Think about that. This is another bring it in moment. Introduce yourself to yourself. See what's planted in your subconscious mind. Because your subconscious mind is going to always try to protect what you planted there. Okay? Remember I told you about those seeds. Some things need to be uprooted. So how much do you know about yourself? Are you aware of the thoughts? Here's another one, okay? Are you aware of the thoughts that come to rob you of your true value? Or you just allowing thoughts just to run through your mind just all day long? They running through your mind. I forgot the numbers. One time I did a research to see, and this is something that you could Google, how many thoughts run through your mind on any given day. Yeah. Are you aware of those thoughts? Or are you just allowing them to come and rob you of your true value? What are you thinking about? There's some things that you don't need to be thinking about. Anything that's going to cause you to defeat your own self, defeat your purpose. Don't allow those things just to run through your mind. Not even running through, y'all. They sitting there in your mind. Okay? They're staying there. They have parked themselves in your mind. Those limiting beliefs, those self-defeating thoughts. And they're sitting there. And you are receiving them. You're acknowledging them. You're not getting rid of them. You're not kicking them out. A lot of things you need to just kick out. Okay? And I told you, like, go back and watch yesterday's broadcast, okay? About some of the things. Now, that's not all of them. There's more. There's more. But don't allow those thoughts, okay, to come and rob you of your true value. Telling you negative things about yourself. Creating scenarios in your mind. And creating them by what? Now you imagine, you're meditating on them. Now you got an image, you're imagining these things. You know what they say about fear, false evidence appearing real? Okay, setting some fear in your mind. Fear of you obtaining success. More people are afraid of success than afraid of failing. Okay? More people are afraid of success than afraid of failing. So just think about, some of those things that come to rob you of your true value. Here's another one. Do you truly understand yourself? Do you understand yourself? Sometimes people don't understand themselves. They want to say, well, you don't understand me. Well, first, you don't understand yourself because you don't even know who you are. And you're constantly searching for this. You're trying to pull this in to justify something. You're trying to pull that in to make you feel like you have worth. You're trying to pull something else in to give yourself value so people can see that you have worth. Come on now. How do you see yourself? If you don't see yourself as having more value than a Rolls Royce or a mansion or just just a car, a vehicle, okay, or a boat. It don't even have to be extravagant. It could be just a mere car or a vehicle or whatever. Okay? Some piece of jewelry. If you don't see yourself worth more than that, something's wrong. Okay? You don't know anything about yourself. So, how much do you know about yourself? That's the key. A lot of times people don't even know. They don't know, so that's why they're existing. They're not truly living. It's a fact. This is another reason why you should, get on that Zoom call with me. Go to the bottom of the screen, Linktree/keys to wealth building. Okay? Wealth building. This is a generational thing. There is no lack in the world. Let me tell you this, okay? And when I'm telling you about building your wealth, just like other people are building their wealth, you can too. Okay? The reason why people aren't doing it because they have a lack of knowledge. We want to give you the knowledge, okay? Or teach you the knowledge. Put it that way. Not give it to you. Teach you the knowledge, okay? Because once you get taught the knowledge, and this is an investment, all right? This is an investment. You have to learn how to invest in the level that you expect results. So just like you could go purchase this and save up for that, the same way, and it's affordable, the same way you could purchase this course. It's an investment in yourself. And a lot of times why people don't invest in themselves, because that's how they see themselves. Because people who always want something free or who fail to invest in themselves, they don't see their worth. They don't even see their value. And that's what happens. That's what happens. It's those who invest in themselves, that's the ones that see their value and see their worth. See, I wasn't even going there. Just came to me. Okay? And I just have to tell it like it is. Because it's time to stop playing games. Playtime is over. If you're serious about this, you'll get on this call with me. Linktree/keys to wealth building. Okay? Because it's time for you to stop existing and begin living your life on purpose. Okay? Create a better life for you and your family. Create a better life for, to send your kids to college, to provide for them, to provide for yourself, to be able to go on vacations whenever you like, to not to be stressed out about paying your bills. Okay? This is true. This is a real fact, y'all. How many people are stressed out, working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, and ends aren't even meeting them? They're not meeting. So if you're going to get serious about this, you're going to have to learn when opportunities are presented to you to take advantage of these things. Because, there's people out there, now I'm one of them. I'm not doing this thing, just to be doing this, because I recognize that there is a need here. And there's many, many people on these internet streets who are out here trying to help our audience and help them for real. Because we hear from you all, okay? We know what's going on. We've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. We're trying to take you out of your situation or help you avoid a situation. We see for you what you are not seeing for yourself, to get you on the other side of your pain point, to let you know that it doesn't have to be like this. You don't have to struggle, but you could flow in your design purpose. So that's all I'm going to say. But your value speaks volumes. You are more than enough. And you have to know that. You have to know that. The next talking point here is connecting with your truth. And that's a beautiful thing. When you connect with your truth, it will give you the ability to see your abundance. There's abundance all around you every day. There's not only abundance around you, there's abundance in you. You remember what I said about, your monetary value? People who live below their means, it's because they have a lack of self-production. Let that sink in. Connecting with your truth is also believing and walking in your wealthy place. That's a place where you don't have to struggle. That grinding, I talked about that yesterday, saying all these little cute things, these little in things, okay? Bunch of foolishness. Believing and walking in your wealthy place. There is a place that will give you that joy unspeakable, okay? Because it goes down deep inside of you. It gives you the energy. It gives you the motivation to be able to get up each and every day without somebody having to prod you and pull you and convince you that you have to show up as your best self, before your audience or whatever it is that you say that you're doing. Okay? Nobody should have to be your motivator. That should always come from you, inside of you. But when you connect with your truth, it's an automatic win-win. Okay? There's a connection there. Connecting with your truth, you know that you are well supplied. You know it. And you're able to pull from your inventory. Okay? Wherever you go. I always tell people that I'm a walking storehouse. That's my audience. And they know, even if you get in the chat with me, you could ask me a question and it automatically comes out because I have connected with my truth. And I stay in my own lane. Okay? And that's what you have to do. Connect with your truth and stay in your own lane. I once was at a networking event, virtual networking event. And I had a gentleman, we had to introduce ourselves to, a group, and, you get moved. You did that for, I forgot how long. And then you were put in a room with another group, and it, went so far as that. And he was in my group. And time to introduce myself. And, they had some time after. And he asked me this question. He said, "You do a broadcast 5 times a week?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Where do you get all the material?" And I said, and I looked at him, where do I get all that material? Because when you live in your truth, it automatically comes out of you because you're well supplied. Okay? Your well never runs dry. You're able to answer your audience. Okay? Because you have the answers to their questions, the questions that they're constantly asking. When you know your audience well, because that's your audience. And that's what connecting with the truth, your truth, is all about. When you connect with your truth, it's very, very important because your value speaks volumes. You don't have to pretend. You could come out of that pretense and, get real about it. You don't have to fake it till you make it. Why waste all that energy and time to be the great pretender? Okay, I think that was a song out about that at one time. I think I heard that one time. Don't be a pretender. Be for real. Be authentic. Be your authentic self. Be you. And be the best version of yourself each and every day. Today, I want to be better than what I was yesterday. It's not a competition between you and somebody else. Let you compete with yourself, because each of us are running our own race on our own time clock, because we know that we're not going to be here forever. So we have to get it done. There's no time to waste. No time to waste, because somebody somewhere, they need what we have. Okay? We're not the voice for everybody, but we are the voice for somebody's. Okay? There are people that are waiting for us, our voice, waiting for us to show up, to give them hope, to help them avoid a situation, to help them come out of a situation, to help them to see clearer, to inspire them, to teach them something. So What are you in it for? Are you in it to win it? Or are you still sitting on the sideline playing games? Yo, let me remind you, life is just a vapor. It's time to live your life on purpose. Come out of the rat race. Come off the merry-go-round, okay? The merry-go-round of life, and live your life. I heard somebody say life is just a game. It's a game if you make it a game, okay? I think that, there's even a game called life, the game of life. But it doesn't have to be a game. It could mean something. Make your life mean something. Not only to others, but to yourself. To yourself. Remember, your value speaks volumes. So I thank you for, coming on here with me today, that I'm able to share these nuggets with you of how do you measure up to your truth, and you have monetary value, work, that you are sufficient, and how much do you know about yourself, and connecting with your truth. Okay? These things I hope has motivated you to get you to really dive down deep inside of you and hold yourself accountable for allowing yourself to slip into an inactive mode. It's time, y'all, to come off the sidelines and come and live your life on purpose. So I hope to see you next time, but thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with me on Maximizing Your Potential. Again, I'm your host, Gertrude J. Chapman, and I want you to remember this, that this is your time, this is your season, this is your turning point. Have a great weekend and a great rest of your day. See you next time.